My wine glass freezes halfway to my lips as the words finally register. The dining room suddenly feels too warm, the chandelier light too harsh against the polished mahogany table where my family sits casually dropping this bomb as if discussing the weather. "We figured you'd be perfect for watching the kids since you don't have your own family to worry about," Sophie says, reaching for the bread basket. Her diamond wedding ring catches the light as she tears a roll in half. I stare at her, waiting for the punchline. When none comes, my gaze shifts around the table mom's expectant smile. Chloe's distracted, scrolling on her phone, Michael nodding along. They've all clearly discussed this without me. Let me get this straight. I say, carefully setting down my glass. You want me to use my vacation days and contribute $2,200 to babysit 6 children while you all go to the beach? Mom pats my hand. It's for my 70th, Lauren. We've been planning this for months. The dinner that was supposed to be celebrating vacation details of vacation, I thought included suddenly makes perfect sense. The reason for my invitation tonight crystallizes with sickening clarity. 2 weeks ago, Sophie's voice had bubbled with excitement over the phone. Mom's birthday trip is finally happening. We need your share of $2,200 and make sure you get those vacation days approved. 6 full days in June. I'd been so touched to be included in a real family celebration. After years of Christmas dinners where I brought the desserts no one ate, and birthdays where my carefully chosen gifts were barely acknowledged, this felt like progress. "About time you took a break, Lauren," my boss had said when I'd submitted the rare request. In 8 years, I'd accumulated nearly 6 weeks of unused vacation time. I straightened my shoulders. Why not hire someone professional? There are services with CPR-certified sitters who... You can't trust strangers with family, Mom interrupts, her tone sharpening. The children need someone who loves them. My hands, which had been fidgeting beneath the table, suddenly still. The realization settles like concrete in my stomach. This was always the plan. I was never meant to be on the beach with them. "So what do you think of the resort?" Chloe asks, showing Michael something on her phone. "The infinity pool overlooks the entire coastline. And the private cabanas," Sophie adds. "Mom will love having morning coffee right on the beach." They continue passing around brochures, discussing snorkeling excursions and restaurant reservations while I sit forgotten, like a piece of furniture they've walked past 1,000 times. I've spent years being the responsible one, the sister who helps with tax paperwork, who drives Mom to doctor appointments, who stays late at family gatherings to clean up while everyone else heads home. The aunt who remembers every birthday, who babysits last minute when plans fall through. I've become the family's designated caretaker without ever agreeing to the role. "Excuse me," I murmur, though no one seems to notice as I push back my chair. In the bathroom, I splash cold water on my face and stare at my reflection. The woman looking back has shadows under her eyes from working overtime last week to clear her schedule for a vacation that was never meant for her. Her hair is pulled back in the same practical style she's worn for years because there's never time for salon appointments between family emergencies. What strikes me most is the resignation in her expression, as if she expected this betrayal all along. I grip the edges of the sink, water dripping from my chin. For the first time in years, I don't recognize myself in the mirror. Or maybe this is the first time I truly do. One thought comes with startling clarity. Something has to change. And it has to start with me. Half an hour later, I still sit in the bathroom, in bewilderment after I had the conversation with my family. I splash cold water on my face, letting droplets trail down my cheeks as I struggle to process what just happened. My phone buzzes, probably Mom wondering why I'm taking so long, but as I reach for it on the counter, Chloe's phone lights up beside the sink. I shouldn't look. I know this. But the group text displayed on her screen catches my eye. Lauren vacation plan. My name, my vacation, my money. My fingers move before my conscience can stop them. I pick up Chloe's phone, the screen still unlocked. The texts stretch back 3 months. 3 months of planning that never included me on the beach. Lauren's always so predictable. She'll say yes, she always does. Sophie's message from February. She'll be thrilled just to be included in Mom's birthday. She won't ask questions until it's too late. Chloe's response. Our built-in babysitter, lol. Michael's contribution. My hands grip the counter edge as I scroll through screenshot after screenshot of beachfront properties. Properties they researched while simultaneously asking for my share of the cost. Properties where I was never meant to stay. A knock on the door nearly makes me drop the phone. "Lauren?" Mom's cutting the cake, Chloe's voice. Just a minute. I quickly place her phone exactly where I found it, hands shaking. When I return to the dining room, everyone looks up with practiced smiles that now seem grotesque in their insincerity. I remain standing, the chair I'd occupied earlier suddenly repulsive. I saw the group text. I say, my voice steady despite the earthquake happening inside my chest. The one about your vacation plans, the real ones. The room freezes. Sophie's fork pauses midway to her mouth. Chloe glances at her purse where her phone should be. You went through my phone? Chloe's outrage is immediate, convenient deflection. It was open on the bathroom counter, I reply. With 3 months of messages about how predictable and reliable I am. About your built-in babysitter. Michael shrugs, pouring more wine. Well, someone has to watch the kids. And it has to be me? The only one contributing money to a vacation I'm not even invited on? It's not like you'd enjoy a family vacation anyway, Chloe says, scrolling through her newly retrieved phone. You're always working. Because I'm always covering for everyone else. I counter, memories flashing taking Mom to appointments while Sophie was too busy, emergency babysitting when Chloe had concert tickets, covering Michael's portion of family gifts because he was between jobs again. Sophie leans forward, her diamond ring catching the light. After everything Mom's done for you, you can't do this one thing for her? One thing? I laugh, the sound hollow even to my own ears. One thing on top of every other thing I've done while getting nothing in return? Mom waves her hand dismissively. Your sisters have real responsibilities, Lauren. This is how you can contribute. The words hit like physical blows. Real responsibilities. As if my life, my time, my money hold less value because I'm single. As if I exist merely to fill the gaps in their lives. If I don't do this, I say slowly, what happens? I lose the money I've already contributed? I waste my vacation days? I ruin Mom's birthday? Now you're being dramatic, Sophie sighs. And selfish, Chloe adds. Mom's face hardens. I raised you better than this, Lauren. Family comes first. Family comes first, I repeat, the familiar phrase now bitter on my tongue. But am I family, or just free childcare? Of course you're family, Mom says, but her eyes dart to Sophie, seeking backup. Then why wasn't I included in the real plans? Why was I the only one kept in the dark? Silence blankets the room. No one meets my eyes. If I say no to this, I continue, will I still be welcome at Christmas? At birthday dinners? Or will I be punished for not fulfilling my role? Sophie shifts uncomfortably. No one's punishing anyone. We just thought. You thought I would say yes without question. That I would give up my time, my money, and my vacation because that's what I always do. The realization settles heavy in my stomach. You counted on me not valuing myself enough to refuse. Mom stands, gathering dessert plates with sharp movements. If you can't do this small thing for your family, Lauren, perhaps you should reconsider what family means to you. The threat hangs between us comply or risk everything. Years of holidays, of belonging somewhere, of having people who are supposed to love me unconditionally. But there's nothing unconditional about this love. It comes with terms, with expectations, with the understanding that my needs will always come last. I look around the table at these people I've spent my life trying to please. I see exactly what's happening here. For just a moment, their faces register something like shame. Then the moment passes, and they're reaching for cake, changing the subject, moving on as if my revelation means nothing. As I drove home that night, the weight of years of similar expectations pressed down on me. Should I sacrifice my time and money once again to keep the peace? Or was it finally time to show them that my life had value too? Sometimes the hardest part isn't standing up to others, it's standing up for yourself when no one else ever has. Next day, the family group chat vibrates my phone for the 3rd time in an hour. I ignore it, just as I've ignored the previous 15 notifications. Through the glass wall of my office, I watch our receptionist wave frantically. Mom's on the landline again. Tell her I'm in a meeting, I say when Patricia pokes her head in, like I was 20 minutes ago, and yesterday afternoon. Patricia's eyebrows rise. She says it's a family emergency. Of course she does. I've heard that particular wolf cry so many times I could set my watch by it. Lauren? My boss Robert appears at my door, face tight with concern. Is everything all right? Your mother called saying there's some kind of emergency. Heat crawls up my neck. I'm sorry about that. There's no emergency. My family is just. I search for words that won't make me sound like a terrible daughter. Persistent. Robert studies me for a moment. This is about your vacation request, isn't it? I nod, mortified. Handle it, he says quietly. We need you focused. After he leaves, I open the group chat. The screen fills with passive-aggressive missiles. Some people just don't understand what family means anymore. Shopping for beach supplies with Chloe. Can't wait for our family vacation. Blessed family first. My sister Sophie has tagged everyone except me in a photo of beach hats and sunscreen. I click through to Sophie's social media profile. There they are, a stream of vacation prep photos dating back 3 weeks. In every caption, some subtle dig at those who don't prioritize family. The comments section overflows with relatives asking why I'm not in the pictures, why I'm not excited about the big trip. My phone buzzes with a text from my credit card company confirming this month's automatic payment to AT&T Wireless, Elaine Mitchell. I frown, opening my banking app. The payment history scrolls before me. $89.99 monthly for the past 5 years. Mom's cell phone bill. The one she'd asked me to help with temporarily after Dad left. The one I'd somehow never stopped paying. I pull a legal pad from my drawer and start a list. Cell phone bill, $5,399.4. Emergency babysitting, last year, 42 nights. Holiday hosting, $3,200, last Christmas alone. Last-minute airport pickups, 17. Loan to Sophie, unpaid, $4,000. Mom's temporary car insurance, $7,680. The list grows, covering both sides of the page. In the margins, I note the thank yous never offered, the reciprocal invitations never extended, the emergencies that somehow always aligned with my rare personal plans. At the bottom, I write, vacation days taken for myself in 8 years, 0. My hand trembles as I draw a thick line under the final tally. Lauren? Patricia stands in my doorway with a travel magazine. You look like you're plotting a murder over there. Just accounting, I say, trying to smile. She places the magazine on my desk, open to a spread of turquoise waters and white sand. About time you did something for yourself, honey, she says, tapping a photo of a beachfront hotel in Key West. The ocean heals everything. For the first time in days, I feel something other than anger or hurt. A tiny flutter of possibility. That evening, 3 sharp knocks on my apartment door announce Sophie without the courtesy of advance notice. When I open it, she breezes past me with a leather portfolio tucked under her arm. I brought the finalized itinerary and childcare instructions, she announces, spreading papers across my coffee table. The kids' allergies are highlighted, and I've included emergency contacts. Michael's mother might be available if there's a real problem, but try not to bother her. I stand perfectly still, watching her arrange my imprisonment with color-coded efficiency. The vacation rental doesn't allow pets, so you'll need to keep the kids at your place or Mom's, she continues. I've scheduled their activities by day and… Sophie, I interrupt, my voice steadier than I feel. I won't be watching the children. She blinks up at me. What do you mean? Of course you are. No, I'm not. Lauren, don't be difficult. You've always been the responsible one. That's your role in this family. Something inside me, something that has bent for years without breaking finally snaps. Being responsible for myself doesn't make me responsible for everyone else's choices. I say, gathering her papers into a neat stack and extending them toward her. I won't be available. You can't be serious. She doesn't take the papers. Mom already told everyone you agreed to this. I never agreed. You all assumed. But we've been planning for months. The deposit is non-refundable. So is my life, Sophie. The words come from somewhere deep and uncompromising. I've spent years being treated like a utility instead of a person. I'm done. Her mouth opens and closes. For perhaps the first time in our adult lives, my sister has nothing to say. You need to leave now, I tell her, setting the childcare schedule on the entryway table and opening my front door. After she stomps out, I call Patricia. Still looking at those Key West brochures? I ask. The next morning, Patricia helps me book a beachfront room with an ocean view upgrade. My boss approves my vacation request immediately. Enjoy yourself, Robert says, actually looking up from his computer. You've earned it. When I share my plans with a few colleagues, they react with genuine enthusiasm. No guilt, no expectations. Just simple happiness for my happiness. I walk a little taller in the hallways. I speak more firmly in meetings. I begin referring to my vacation as my trip, rather than time off. At home, I set up my out-of-office email notice, unavailable until the 16th of June with no access to messages, and pack sunscreen, sandals, and 3 new sundresses still bearing tags. My travel arrangements are completely non-refundable. The commitment to myself is sealed in digital stone. The morning of my departure, I slide into the back of a rideshare headed for the airport, power down my phone completely, and watch the familiar landmarks of my neighborhood recede. For the first time in 8 years, no one knows exactly where to find me. And I am finally breathing. The sunrise splashes across my hotel room in brilliant oranges and pinks. I document this moment, meticulous phone camera capturing the perfect light, journal open beside a room service tray of fresh fruit and coffee I deliberately ordered instead of rushing through a granola bar like at home. The room's balcony frames the ocean like a living painting. First morning of genuine peace, I write in my leather-bound journal, pressing the pen firmly against the page. No text messages asking for emergency babysitting. No calls from Mom about her internet connection, just waves and possibility. I snap another photo of my breakfast overlooking the water, then silence my backup phone, the old one, Sophie doesn't know about, before slipping it into the hotel safe. The sailing excursion I booked last night is confirmed for noon. Just me, the water, and absolute freedom. My fingers hover over the journal page. Maybe worth isn't measured by what you give to others, but by what you believe you deserve. The waves crash against the shore, punctuating my thought with nature's exclamation point. I close the journal and lean back, breathing deeply. That night, I sleep soundly for the first time in months. No midnight calls, no anxiety dreams about forgotten family obligations, just darkness and rest. While I float peacefully on turquoise waters, chaos erupts back home. My neighbor Gladys later tells me my family arrived at my apartment loaded with children and luggage, using the emergency key I'd given Mom years ago, just in case. Your sister, the bossy one with the diamond ring, was practically in tears when no one answered, Gladys reports in her follow-up email. They kept buzzing my apartment asking if I'd seen you. I simply said you mentioned needing a vacation. Should have seen their faces. At my office, the scene plays out differently. Mom calls Patricia, voice trembling with practiced concern. Lauren's not answering her phone. There must be something wrong. We need to reach her immediately for a family situation. Patricia, bless her practical heart, responds with professional detachment. Lauren is on approved vacation and has indicated she's unreachable. I'd be happy to take a message for when she returns next week. But the children, we had arrangements. Mom stammers, the manipulation falling flat. I understand family matters are important, Patricia says. However, Lauren's time off was approved months ago. Is there someone else who might assist with your childcare needs? The crushing realization hits them. There is no backup plan. Their own vacation, the beachfront resort with infinity pools and private cabanas, must be canceled. The non-refundable deposits forfeit. The careful manipulation unraveled by my simple absence. Sitting on the deck of a catamaran, watching dolphins play in the distance while my phone remains powered off in the hotel safe, a question floats through my mind. Is my silence teaching them to respect my boundaries? Or am I just punishing them for years of taking me for granted? I don't have an answer yet, but for the first time, the question itself feels like progress. Behind the scenes, my accidental support network forms a protective barrier. Patricia intercepts 3 more calls from Sophie, each more demanding than the last. Lauren understands the importance of work-life balance, she tells my sister calmly. Perhaps this is an opportunity for everyone to practice that balance. Gladys confirms to my increasingly frantic family that I mentioned needing time away, but offers no further details. My boss, sensing something unusual in the family's persistent calls, sends a text to my backup phone. Whatever's happening, take the time you need. The office is fine. For the first time in my adult life, people are protecting my peace instead of disrupting it. Back home, the cracks in my family's facade begin to show. Sophie posts a bitter update on social media. Unexpected staycation with the kids when someone bails on family obligations. Disappointed family first. The thinly veiled attack receives fewer sympathetic comments than she expected. Mom's bridge club friends ask pointed questions about why I'm not included in the family celebration photos. Her vague answers about me choosing work over family fall flat when someone mentions seeing me on a friend's Florida vacation post. The family group chat fills with increasingly desperate and angry messages as days pass. Sophie complains about using her own vacation days. Mom laments her ruined birthday. Chloe suggests someone drive to my office to check if Lauren's really gone or just ignoring us. No one considers the simplest explanation, that after years of being treated like family property, I've finally remembered I belong to myself first. The ocean breeze carries away years of accumulated tension as I watch the sunset from my balcony. Tomorrow I'll turn my phone back on and face whatever storms await, but tonight belongs entirely to me. After I came back, my apartment door swings open before I can reach for my keys. Mother stands in the entryway, emergency key dangling from her manicured fingers like a weapon. Behind her, Sophie's mascara has created dark rivers down her cheeks, while Chloe leans against my bookshelf with studied casualness. "Where have you been?" Mother's voice trembles with practiced fragility. "We've been worried sick." I step inside, setting my suitcase by the door. Sand still clings to my sandals, a tiny reminder of the peace I'm not ready to surrender. "I was on vacation," I say simply, closing the door behind me. "The same one I requested time off for." Sophie steps forward, her tear-streaked face hardening. "You know that's not what we meant. The kids were devastated when we had to cancel our plans." "We just assumed you'd want to help out," Chloe adds with a dismissive wave. "It wasn't a big deal." Mother paces my living room, the floorboards creaking beneath her determined steps. She stops, turning to face me with the expression she's perfected over decades' disappointment mingled with martyrdom. "After everything I've sacrificed for you girls," she begins, her rehearsed speech flowing with practiced ease, "I never thought I'd see the day when my own daughter would abandon her family. Family loyalty used to mean something." Her voice rises as she delivers her final blow. "If you can't be counted on when we need you most, I may need to reconsider your place in this family." The old Lauren would have crumbled, apologized, promised to make it right. But that Lauren drowned in Key West, replaced by someone who finally recognizes her own worth. I extend my hand toward Mother, palm up. "I'd like my emergency key back, please." Her mouth opens in surprise, but I continue before she can speak. "That key is for emergencies, not for ambushing me in my own home." Mother clutches the key tighter. "This is an emergency. Your sister had to use her vacation days because I used mine for myself?" I finish, walking to my desk. I pull out a folder I prepared on the flight home. "Let me show you something." I spread the papers across my coffee table history meticulously documented. 8 years of emergency babysitting requests, 5 years of automatic payments for Mother's cell phone, 3 years of holiday hosting with no reciprocation, receipts for groceries delivered when Chloe was between jobs, the down payment I helped Sophie with when she and Michael bought their house. "I'm not your employee, your babysitter, or your ATM," I say, my voice steady despite the hammering in my chest. "I'm supposed to be your daughter." Mother's voice rises to a pitch I recognize from childhood tantrums. "How dare you keep score in a family? That's not how love works." I don't flinch. For the first time, I notice how her anger makes her smaller, not larger. The sun from my window catches the highlights in my hairlighter from days spent under the Florida sun. My shoulders remain relaxed as they stare at me, waiting for the familiar collapse into compliance. "Love works both ways," I answer quietly. "Or it doesn't work at all." They crowd my living room. Mother perched on the edge of my sofa, Sophie standing with arms crossed by the window, Chloe thumbing through a magazine she's pretending to read. I stand apart, no longer seeking their approval or fearing their rejection. I reach for my phone, scrolling through photos. "Would you like to see my vacation?" I ask, turning the screen toward them. Sophie gasps at images of white sand beaches, turquoise waters, and mesmerizing, relaxed free. "You actually went to the beach?" Sophie's voice cracks. "While we were stuck at home dealing with your mess? I had to miss the trip to watch the kids." I nod, continuing to scroll through sunset cocktails and sailing excursions. "Now you know how it feels to be used instead of included." Chloe tosses the magazine aside. "This is so typical. You've always been dramatic." "No," I correct her. "I've always been accommodating. There's a difference. Mother stands, her face flushing deep red. If that's how you feel about your family obligations, I guess I don't have a daughter named Lauren. The words hang between us, the ultimate threat that once would have shattered me. Instead, I walk calmly to my apartment door and open it wide. Then so be it, I reply. The door is behind you. They stare at me in stunned silence. For a moment, no one moves. Then Mother drops my key on the side table with a metallic clatter that sounds like freedom. She walks out without looking back, Sophie and Chloe trailing behind her like ducklings following their mother across a busy street. The door closes with a soft click that echoes through my quiet apartment. Within days, the rumors begin. Aunt Meredith calls to ask if I'm going through something. Uncle Steve mentions my selfish phase in an email. Cousin Jennifer sends a pointed article about family therapy. I delete the email. I let Aunt Meredith's call go to voicemail. I block Uncle Steve's number. What none of them asks is whether my family might have been wrong, whether I deserve the same consideration they give each other, whether love should come with fewer conditions and more respect. At work the following Monday, I fill out a form at Patricia's desk. She watches as I cross out my mother's name under emergency contact and write in her name instead. "You sure about this, honey?" she asks, though her eyes crinkle with understanding. I nod, capping my pen. Family is who shows up for you, not just who expects you to show up for them. She takes the form, her weathered hand briefly covering mine. About time you figured that out. The book club meets in a converted Victorian home with bay windows that catch the morning light. I slip my silenced phone into my purse before walking up the porch steps, where a hand-lettered sign reads, "Readers welcome. 6 weeks have passed since I last spoke to my family." "Lauren, we saved you a spot," calls Diane, patting the worn leather armchair beside her. 8 women of varying ages look up from their coffee mugs and paperbacks, their faces warming with genuine smiles. For 2 hours, we dissect characters' motivations and plot twists. I find myself speaking up without rehearsing my thoughts, first a small freedom I never allowed myself before. When someone disagrees with my take on the protagonist's choices, no one makes me feel stupid or wrong. They just listen, consider, and sometimes concede I might have a point. "Anyone up for lunch at Mabel's?" Diane asks as we gather our books. My hand doesn't reach for my phone to check for family emergencies or last-minute babysitting requests. Instead, I hear myself say, "I'd love to," and the words feel like sunshine breaking through clouds. Later that afternoon, I finalize my spring trip to Europe, 3 countries in 14 days. When the confirmation appears on my screen with its non-refundable deposit notice, I don't feel panic. I feel free. My phone rings 6 weeks to the day after our confrontation. Sophie's name flashes on the screen. A familiar tightness grips my chest as I answer. "Thank God you picked up," she says, her voice pitched with that manufactured urgency I now recognize. The sitter canceled last minute, and Michael has this work thing he absolutely cannot miss. "I need you to take the kids tonight. Like within the hour." The old Lauren would have already been grabbing her keys, mentally rearranging her evening plans. "I'm sorry to hear that," I say instead, my voice steady. "I'm not available tonight." "What do you mean, not available? This is an emergency." "I understand, but I have plans I can't break. Have you tried Supersitters? They have CPR-certified babysitters available on short notice." "You know we can't afford professional sitters," she snaps. "Their rates are actually comparable to what you'd pay a teenager," I reply, surprised by how little her tone affects me now. "I can text you their number." When we hang up, I feel a twinge of regret, not guilt. There's a difference. Regret acknowledges the discomfort of change. Guilt assumes I've done something wrong. I haven't. Patricia raises her wine glass across the candlelit table at Mabel's, where my book club friends have gathered to celebrate my upcoming European adventure. "To Lauren," she says, her eyes crinkling at the corners, "because choosing yourself sometimes isn't selfish, it's necessary." 7 voices echo, "To Lauren." The warmth around this table feels more like family than obligation ever did. The next morning, I address a birthday card to my mother. Inside, I've written a simple message wishing her well, signed with love. No apologies, no promises to visit soon, no offer to make it up to her. Just acknowledgement that despite everything, I still choose connection, but on my terms. My wall calendar shows a new Balance Book Club, Saturdays, yoga Wednesdays, a weekend trip to the wine country next month, and yes, Sunday dinner at Chloe's in 2 weeks. Not every Sunday. Just this one. At my window, I pause to watch a family in the park below, parents pushing children on swings, a grandmother feeding ducks. I feel compassion rather than longing. Their dynamics aren't mine to judge. As I seal my mother's birthday card, I wonder if real family means automatic obligation, or if true connection can only exist when everyone's boundaries are respected. Can relationships that were built on utility ever transform into ones built on mutual care? Or is it sometimes better to redefine family altogether?